History. Try not to drink coffee today. Yo, I listened to your kid's advice and got rid of my filter, bro. What about you? Sounds good. I see it. Is the producer on tonight? Is she checking it? I'm checking it. Talk, Ralph. Go ahead. Say something. Mic check. 3, 4, 5, 1. Yeah, I don't hear you. So do something. It's about a 10, 15 second delay. Don't know yet. Stand by.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3. We're live. We're live.
We are live, and I don't think I hear you coming through on Facebook at the moment. So keep mic checking and see what's going on. Oh, it's on. That last one came through. We're good. Awesome.
T-minus 2 minutes. Stand by for commercial.
Searching for accounting service? Then contact our efficient and expert team to find out more about our various services created to meet your exact needs. All our professionals have tons of experience, which guarantees you'll get only the very best. We're waiting to hear from you and to answer any questions you may have on how we can best serve your needs. Let us prove our devotion to you as we promise to maintain the highest level of quality and commitment. Your satisfaction is our only concern. Contact us right now and let us show you all the amazing options we have.
Thank you for listening to the TTalks.net podcast, the show that brings you information, guidance, and support. Thank you for listening to the TTalks.net podcast, the show that brings you information, guidance, and support to entrepreneur-minded individuals like yourself. TTalks.net will give you something to talk about tomorrow. This isn't the daily show, but this is the show where you'll get everything. You'll get a fiesta of a mix with the old and the new. They will give you tips and insights into everyday business, big wins in everyday life. They have a lot to add, from bookkeeping to sales, sales management, and sales training, and daily content for listeners to learn and enjoy. We are here to improve your life in business or a sales career. Without any further ado, introducing the dynamic duo, Alex DeLuca and Rafael Rodriguez Jr.
Well, good evening, Alex. How you doing?
Wow, look at that. Good evening, Rafael. How you doing tonight, evening, afternoon? Hello, my name's Alex. Welcome to T Talks from here, Naples, Florida, and over to Rafael Rodriguez in Hollywood, man. It's 10 p.m. We're on the dot today, huh?
Well, trying. And the good news is that we're still practicing. We're trying to get things going, and it looks like we're getting the hangs of things. So that's always good. And
if anybody's on our side, if technology's on our side, God willing, we'll get this to work.
Well, they say that practice makes perfect, so we're putting that practice in. It's 10 o'clock. We're trying to spend some time with our listeners and hopefully make a difference. Either you're a brand new sales guy or a veteran sales guy, a new business owner, whatever it is, we definitely are hoping that our information will help you get to the next level.
You know, we had this idea of this show, and I honestly, I wouldn't trade this half hour for anything throughout my day. We will negotiate maybe a little bit earlier after this 10 p.m. hour and, push it farther, but who knows. But this is fun, man. We get this, 2020 post-COVID, we're live. We're doing this to give information to help anybody that we can from here to California. I'm joining groups in California. I'm sharing it out in Pasadena, LA, and we're getting views from that side and other places in Texas, man. It's pretty cool. So, we give you an action-packed, tight-packed 30 minutes, and we try to stay on topic, right, Ralph?
That's it. And rolling right along. We've been talking about sales, and I did want to bring in some finance. I think that every single business owner, salesperson, need to treat whatever they're doing as a business, and regardless if you have 100 employees or you got no employees, there are certain things that you should do in business, and we're going to try to cover at least the top 10. I think that certainly needs to be looked into.
Easily, right? And that's one thing that I've come to you for often. I'm the people person. I see ideas. I like plans, but when it comes to numbers and accounting, you've always been a good person to talk to about that, and you've had the experience there, which I do not. But talking about it and being a business or even being a 1099 employee, this is another huge first full circle topic.
Well, especially if you're a 1099.
Yes.
At the end of the year, the last thing you want to do is start looking for paperwork and you really don't know where to start. And that goes with my number one priority for either a small business or a 1099 employee is that either one, you buy an accounting software, regardless of what it is. I have something. I won't necessarily agree with Excel spreadsheet, but if that's what makes you comfortable, then it's better than nothing. I literally like small business to go into the QuickBooks. It's really
the
simple.
QuickBooks, you've been promoting for them. You love QuickBooks. You're all over QuickBooks. And how easy is it? We talk about these devices. I got 2 cell phones on me and an iPad. All of them, you can scan receipts. There's apps to help you track things. And QuickBooks, they make it pretty darn easy, just like Robinhood does for you to put your money in there. You can track it through QuickBooks as easy as a click. Ralph gets on me all the time about this. You're right. How many people come to you with, here's my folder, do my taxes.
And I learned a long time ago to those people, I try to help them, but you got to start somewhere. And we're at the beginning of the year. If you're not doing it, I highly suggest that you do. Spend the $20, $30 a month on an accounting program. There are some free ones out there. Do your research. You want to capture the essence of what your business is all about. And my biggest thing is that will you go on the road on a road trip if your gas gauge is not working? You're nothing in the car. None of your gauges are working in the car, so you don't know if it's too hot.
Oof.
You don't know if it has enough gas. You don't know how many miles an hour you're going. Will you go on a trip?
No, I'm going to North Carolina here. Well, I'm going camping this weekend, North Carolina, in a few weeks. That's a 13-hour drive. I check my tire pressure. I make sure that tire pressure gauge is checked. All the gauges are good. I have, certain antifreeze up there in case I go to the cold. There's things that you do and put in line, just like your taxes. Everything has a system and steps. Thanks to our sponsors at theremotebookkeepers.com, you can go in there and there's a ton of free information on this as well. Tips and tricks and not a hack, but if you're not thinking about what you can write off, and you're self-employed or you're a person or you're a business owner, you're losing money. And that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. So the biggest takeaway is that in your business you should know what's happening. Just like if you're going on your trip, you should have. You should know how much gas how many miles, forget how much money you're going to need to go to the trip. I mean, imagine going on a trip and not knowing how much you're going to spend, and do you have enough money? And what about if you go all the way out there and you don't have enough to come back? I mean, these are real situations that, as business owners, I see it all the time. They're just flying by, and just winging it. And just imagine how much more if they actually measure, and it goes right to the next topic that is huge. Is review your costs.
All right.
Whatever you're doing, you should be selling stuff at a profit. But if you don't know how much it costs you, how can you sell it?
How many times have we sat down with a company and what's your acquisition cost? What's your profit and loss on the job that you just closed out? When do you know that number? These are things that should be almost written down, and give yourself 10% in your respective industry. Either way, you're almost on that number before it's even done. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, and those are huge number to know. What is your break-even point? How much do you have to generate in order for you to be afloat? And even though it's a little bit ahead of the time, but hopefully you're paying yourself too. You got to take care of the captain. If nobody takes care of the captain, how can the captain take care of his soldiers?
And that's, and there's so many different ways in levels that we could talk about, all these topics, right? But at the same time, when, put yourself in someone's shoes where they have the good, secure job, they're killing it in their respective industry, but then they have an opportunity to where they can grow another position or another job, and they don't need to make money off of that right away, and have a salesperson or somebody else running that situation is always an option too. But back on topic too, we did the properly managing your accounting from the finances of a business owner and 1099 employee, and then reviewing your costs, and that goes down to keeping track of every little expense that you possibly can. What are some of the most obvious expenses would you say that are missed out on?
Well, as a 1099 employee, there is cost of your clothes, washing your car for your image, uniform, or business attire. You need those in order for you to do your trade. Your haircuts, you need it to look good. Makeup,
hair dye.
The weekly salon trip, okay? In Alex's case, making your nails on every 2 weeks.
Listen, I was just going to bring up my pedicure here.
Well, I definitely got to do my pedicure. Your teeth cleaning. These are all things that are image related, and it could be part of your cost. And either you're a 1099 or a business owner that's in front of clients, these are things that you definitely can talk to your accountant or whoever does your taxes. And don't forget the remotebookkeepers.com. They can definitely help make sure that they can navigate to see exactly what could be deducted and what couldn't be deducted.
No, and that's all huge stuff, guys. And that, it took me until 30 to realize, I already had a couple LLCs opened up before that, but to realize that, look, everything can be an expense. I provide, I run a business. And what about payroll tax too? Like, how important is that for your company? And then, making sure that you get tax information out to all your employees. Like, that's all huge in tracking that in general.
We just had a deadline. If you had 1099 employees, you were required to send out the 1099 form, and you have to report that. It's not just sending out the report by January 31st, but you also have to file it to the IRS. So a lot of people I've seen that they send out the 1099s, but they forget to send it to the IRS, and that's definitely a red flag. If you come and get audited, there's a lot of explaining to do. And that goes to my next topic is huge. You gotta have some type of financial projection. Now, the funny part is that you really cannot project if you don't know where you stand. So if you don't know where you stand or what your break-even point is, and how much did I sell last month, and how much did I produce last month, because sometimes, depending on the business, you can sell something and not necessarily, it might take 30, 60, 90, 120 days before that actually materializes into actual income. Even though, depending on which type of accounting you decide to take, there are two different types. You got the accrual and you got the cash basis. I typically will tell most of my clients are small that the cash basis is typically, probably the easiest to run. And what's the difference between one and the other? I'll give you a perfect example. If I sell $1 million today, according to my financial statement, $1 million, I will have sold $1 million even though my bank account has zero. Okay? On a cash basis, once I get that money into my bank account, that's when I actually record that I did make $1 million. You see the difference? One is it actually is up in the air. The other one is actually
when it hits.
Bank account. Now,
what do you want to pay taxes on?
I'm sorry?
Which one would you want to pay taxes on?
Well, I want to pay taxes on what I actually received. But again, it all depends on how you have your company structure. If you're on accrual or cash basis, if you're on accrual, then you're paying it upon invoice. And if you're on a cash basis, is when you actually receive the money.
Gotcha.
So, with that said, my next one is that I actually see it a lot where, you finish the job and you forget to invoice.
How is that? It happens too, and it's funny how that could happen when we're dealing with, we'll say in the contracting business, and they can be tight on a cash flow situation, and there's invoices out on the streets, and you could have $250,000 at one point if you're a decent size remodeling company on the street at any given month, any given time, if not $500,000, depending on how many sales reps or what you're doing. And for your accounting office to miss that invoice, it happens so much. And that same contractor that it happens to, they're, stuck on cash flow, and it's like invoice and the money comes. You did the job, invoice, the money comes.
Well, and what it is it's almost like, and what I see it a lot is that, you'll set up a contract where you get paid a certain amount upon contract. You get money upon the permit. You might get money upon delivery. And because accounting is not tuned in with operation just keeps doing the work, but then yet the accounting doesn't know, and all of a sudden now that one customer that you should have had 50% already on your side, it's still floating out there because
it's floating, and that brings us up. The whole idea of the follow-ups, and everything being full circle again, right? But how important is it to follow up once those invoices are sent out? A lot of people aren't just like, here's my checkbook and take my money, get them on the phone and close it out. A lot of times, you do a good enough job, they'll call you and pay at the end of the day, but this goes invoicing, full times over, follow-up, setting the terms, and it's just collecting the money and having it in stone, and that all goes hand in hand with the projections that we just talked about too.
Well, and I'm going to switch a little bit to on a recurring basis is that if you have customers that they're due on the 1st, don't wait till the 1st to send an invoice out. You actually send it on the 25th of the month.
When you get your credit card statement?
Usually at least 14 days before it's due.
All right. When you get, your medical, your insurance.
And yeah, you typically get it before. So, we know that humans will take their habits of they're creatures of habit, and they have, typically they'll wait till the last minute to go ahead and make a payment. So if you're on a recurring basis, or you want to go ahead and invoice at least 5 to 7 days before, so they have it within their hand. On that day, you send them a reminder. Hey, your stuff is due, because cash. Everybody heard this before, that cash is king. Okay, you want to make sure that you got that cash flow going.
It's cool to have Bitcoin and all, but Dodge.
From here to the
listen.
moon.
Do you know who the main holder is? Dodge is. You know why I got out of Dodge?
What?
I got out of Dodge at the right time. You know who the main holder is?
No.
Well, who's the main person you buy Dodge from?
Robinhood.
You think they're the main holder? You think they own more than 50% of that stock, if not 60?
Could be.
All day. Elon Musk is toying it. Nobody knows who it is. He's straight up saying, "Sell your stock, please. I'll buy it all." He wants it to break up because it's look at the ticker on that thing. It's crazy. My girl goes nuts over it. I'm done looking at it, but it's like
I don't even know
gonna
what
have
it is now.
It's gonna have a heart attack the past week. It's probably
definitely the stock market hasn't done too great in the last couple of days. But
let's stay on that topic for a second too. Tesla going down, Bitcoin soaring to 56,000, dropping down back to 46. Stock market was almost 15% or 0.15% down this morning, but it kind of leveled back up. I'm waiting to open up my cash account at Robinhood. I'm waiting to put at least $7,000 in there and have some fun. That's the goal there. But it's a whole learning thing. I'm watching different courses. I bought the trading for dummies, penny stocks, and this, that, and the other, and just learning candlestick trading and trading the open and all that fun stuff. But that just shows that it never ends, man. The mind's always going.
But you're bringing right on topic, which is for business owners, even for if you're a 1099 and you're trying to run a business, is that do me a favor, open up a different account. Don't mix your bank account, personal bank account, with whatever business activity you have. It just creates such a headache for whoever is going to look at your accounting afterwards. And
I got yelled at a young age. One of my early business, my accountant, she's like, "Alex, if you go to the ATM with that debit card one more time."
Well, what it is that every time you take out cash and you're paying somebody with cash, what's happening is that as an accountant, we look at it as you're taking out money to yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to record a transaction to somebody you're paying cash, and you might even forget it. So what does the accountant do? So every time you take out that cash with nobody to assign it to, it goes assigned to the business owner. And now all of a sudden you got $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 that you took out in cash, and there's no records whatsoever. If you use a business bank account and you use that ATM all the time, what happens is that now we have Home Depot, we have Lowe's, we have the car payment, everything, who it was actually paid for, and you can go ahead and allocate it, and it makes it much easier to do that tax return at the end of the year.
Awesome.
And
don't most of your apps could break it down for you. All you need is your statements, and a lot of times your statements are broken down towards what you spend on energy, food, travel, what you eat, how much you're spending on this, that, and the other, how much you have set up on subscription services. It's pretty neat. And there's so many different apps out there, and you see the commercials for them that, scan this every time you buy something, and it will tell you if it's a write-off or not. That's one of the ones I've seen more recently, as I'm scrolling through social media. They know it's tax season, so of course you'll see more of it.
Well, and it goes right into the next line that, a lot of times us as business owners, to get any business started, you have to infuse it with some money. I mean, I literally never seen a business that basically from day one, it magically just started making money from day zero. Because you probably had to open up a corporation, you had to spend money on that. You have to spend money on business cards, and you're pulling all this money out of your pocket, but yet you're not recording it. And every time you're putting money into the business, you're actually lending the business money. So when you do take that money out, it's more of a payback on a loan than actual profit or income to you. Does that make sense?
No, yes, and that's so you're saying you can write off the whole thing or just the interest?
No, it's not writing the whole thing. Is if you spend $10,000, okay, into opening up this company, and you basically lend the company $10,000. When you try to get that money back, the last thing you want to do is pay taxes on that coming to you, because it's that you're just paying paying yourself.
You're the loan.
You're a loan.
You should get interest on that.
That's not income to you. That's your sweat money that you're trying to get back.
That's it. Got to get it back. And there's so many different angles. And who's the one of the Shark Tank guys I've seen? Kevin. I think Kevin O'Leary. He's big into the taxes this season. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
That's funny, huh?
I think it's 15 years already, the Shark Tank.
Yeah. But Kevin's doing taxes. It's tax season. Reach out, look us up, the link below. Once we're done, you'll see the remotebookkeepers.com. A lot of free information. If you have any questions, please reach out. Back on topic, keeping track of your personal loans, but at the same time, using a business credit card will benefit you huge and when it comes to related expenses.
Well, and I think I caution everybody is that you want to make sure that you pay your loan back without having to pay tax on profit that doesn't exist. The next one is that as soon as you get a chance, try to get a business credit card for the business, so you can separate your personal stuff from the business. You want to kind of pay yourself XYZ amount so you can go ahead and pay your bills, but pay it personally. Don't try to commingle it, because again, it's a nightmare. Whoever comes in
for the accountant.
It's a nightmare for the accountant, and then it creates a problem if for some reason you get audited. Now it's you just open up a can of worms for the IRS, because now they're going to get into your business, personal as well as your business, and we definitely don't want that. Now, the next one that goes right in line with is you want to try to pay yourself first. Okay, it's kind of hard at the beginning because you're trying to grow the company. We all understand that, but try to always take out a certain number, so you can sustain. And typically, anybody that goes in business, you kind of know what your personal expenses are on a weekly
Well,
basis.
let me ask you this. We had a question come in. I saw somewhere as, this is what I like to do. I like to pay myself. But on top of that, what's that number that you do want to pay for yourself? And what's that, if you're looking to buy a house or the proof of income, and then you have the business that, on the other hand, how's the business versus, what you pay yourself going to help you when it comes to proving your income when you're, using that to buy, a high-end car or a house or, a boat or something like that?
Well, it really depends on the ticket amount. Either you're buying, typically, if you're buying a home, any mortgage company or lender out there, they want to see 2 years of taxes. They want to see that the company has been around for 2 years. A lot of times it's a catch-22, because if you're losing money on the business so you don't pay taxes, you're never going to be able to do any acquisition, because based on paper, you're losing money. So who's going to lend you money to buy equipment or to open up a working capital? A lot of people got hit real hard with the SBA, because here you have money that was given out by the SBA loan, and some people had great credit, but because they didn't have enough money to show that they were able to pay back the loan, they weren't able to get. And we're talking about $150,000 was a signature loan by the SBA at a ridiculous interest rate for a 25-year amortization. I mean, this was basically free money, great injection to continue growth within the company. And the reason why was because of, trying to save a penny and not pay your fair share of taxes to Uncle Sam. So you actually got penalized. And I saw it last year so much.
Across the board, man.
And people
across the board, across the nation, and it happened. And nobody's going to admit it. That won't make the news or the headlines, but that lost out on a lot. And people that had their ducks in a row took advantage of it, and it helped. And and they're still in business, and it benefited.
So I will tell you that if you're trying to buy a home, check with your lender, check with a mortgage broker. There are other ways that you can go about. I can tell you about one case in particular where they decided to go, instead of using the business, they decided to use the bank statements for 12 months. They were able to get financed, and they avoided to pay an additional $10,000, $15,000 in taxes that they didn't need to do, and they used that $15,000 towards their down payment for the home. So
awesome.
If you plan it correctly, you can actually come out a winner. But again, it requires a lot of people. It requires your lender to pre-qualify you, how much money you need, so you can get a pre-qualification amount for XYZ dollar amount. Buying a home in Naples compared to buying a home here, it's not the same buying a $400,000 home that it is to buy a $200,000 home. The income was going to be much greater.
Cool.
And I think that we'll finish up with remaining frugal.
You want to see my drone I just bought over the weekend?
I said remaining frugal.
No, I said you want to go see my drone I just bought over the weekend?
No, I said remaining frugal.
Okay, go ahead, explain.
It's easily said than done, because being frugal, because we always say, we work hard so we can play hard. I'm guilty as charged. I'm guilty as charged, but what you want to do is that try to do that. Have a cushion, because you never know what could happen.
Like an allowance, give yourself an allowance. Like, that's all I want is my allowance for my play money. Everything else can go to bills, my future, this, that. I just want a little play money.
My suggestion is to have your cushion, the 3 to 4 to 5 month. I really kind of try to always live frugal. If it requires you, if you make $5,000, you should try to live at $3,000. If you make $3,000, you try to live at $2,000. Always 2/3 of what you make, so you can try to save the 1/3.
You're saying your housing expenses?
No, I'm talking about overall.
Overall.
Overall, so 66% of whatever your expenses, out of 100. Try to save anywhere between 10 to 15. The difference, do whatever you want. But you got to have a starting point where, you start putting that little pot on the side, so you can have a little cushion, especially being a 1099, a salesperson, a business owner. I mean, you don't know what could happen. I mean, a lot of people got.
Look, man, nobody knows what's going to happen when COVID hit the world.
Exactly.
It's a heartbreaking situation. It's crazy. It's blindsided the nation and the world. So California is still basically on lockdown. We talk to people in India. They're on lockdown. The world is different. It's manipulated to this tube, to this screen that we're looking at and we're working on. We're adapting to the times. This is Tea Talks, ladies and gentlemen. We're having fun, and we try to give you some advice as much as we can. Ralph, you're going to say something?
It is 10:31 right now, and with that said, give me a second.
Thank you for tuning in to TTalks.net. If you have any questions, comments, or something you want us to talk about, email us at Raphael@ttalks.net or comment below. Please follow us on YouTube at TTalksNet and Facebook at TTalksNet. Please rate us, and don't forget that sharing is caring. Thank you for your support. Till next time, we will T-Talk later.
And before we get off, a quick shout out to Tiger Woods, man. Hope you're doing okay. Prayers goes out to you on that accident today. My name's Alex DeLuca. Thanks for listening, tuning in here, February 23rd from Naples, Florida. Good night.
And from Hollywood, Florida, Rafael Rodriguez.